Yellow, this is your friendly neighborhood artist, Kai. I'm still working on the intro since I'm planning on rebooting my channel. But if you have been a part of my channel for a little bit, you would know that I used to make rewrites and redesigns for the Sun and Moon show. This was around the time where I was really inspired by rewrites and redesigns, mostly Calimara. But eventually I would discover that my videos weren't very good. But I want this video to discuss my opinions on the Sun and Moon show now that it's been a year later. I'm sorry I haven't been uploading. It's just hard to find times to have an idea. And whenever I have a script video, it always sounds so soulless. Like, I've recorded my voice multiple times, but it just, I don't know, something just doesn't feel right about it. Anyways, let's get into the topic of this video. Honestly, I'm really tired of trying to force myself to find some sort of connection with the Security Breach shows. Like, I've already had a falling out with the Sun and Moon show. I barely watched the Lunar and Earth show. I only, watched a couple of them. And the new shows that were coming out, the new shows just seemed like things I wasn't interested in. I would often try to go back to the older videos and see if I can find connection in there. It worked for a little bit, for at least 2 days, and then I just gave up watching them. It's just, I'm tired of trying to I don't know how to explain it, trying to prove that I still like the series. I think it's also because I see how much people enjoy the series still, and I want to be just like them. I want to be carefree and enjoy the Sun and Moon show like that again. But honestly, the Sun and Moon show, looking at the new stuff, seeing other YouTubers respond to newest videos and stuff like that, it just makes me feel exhausted. Even having to think about everything. One thing I want to touch on is a bunch of these random characters I don't know. And if I actually watched the video, I probably would know who these characters are. Maybe get attached to a little bit of some of them. I don't know. It's just, whenever I just see them, I'm like, who is this and why do I not care? Who is this? I don't care. Because the only characters I'm really attached to from this franchise are the main characters that when I was still a part of the fandom, yeah. And for them to add just a whole bunch of random, I'm not sure according to the show if they're necessary or not, but to me they just look so unnecessary. And, I'm sort of questioning in my mind, what's the purpose of these characters? I was looking, recently, the Eclipse and Puppet show, got replaced to, an Eclipse and Saturn show. I don't know who the heck Saturn is, and I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone. I just can't care for Saturn. I can't care for this other character named Mars. I don't care about him either because I don't know him. And then there's this other clown girl with pink hair, and I'm just like, who even is this? Like, again, if I actually watched the series, I probably would know who these characters are. But also, like, it sounds like such an exhausting thing to do. And if I feel exhausted even trying to get back into the series, if if I had to feel anxiety or exhaustion by the thought of trying to comprehend all the new stuff that the Sun and Moon show has established, I would... It's not a... Like, I'm not saying... It's not a good show for you personally. If you are getting anxious or exhausted, then certain things are just not for you. And that's what I want to sort of talk about. Because the reason why I did, in fact, like this show was because of the mascots of the Sun and Moon show. Sun and Moon. Because I remember when Security Breach came out, and the characters that I clung to the most was Sun and Moon. And then I was hesitant to get into the Sun and Moon show. But when I did, I clung to the characters. And then there was a lot more characters introduced and stuff like that. And then, I don't remember when it started, when I started my rewrites and redesigns, and then I went down this rabbit hole of just, like, things that I didn't like. And it was, eventually I would become neutral with the show. And then eventually, like, after Solar's death, I would just mostly completely drop the show. Watching occasionally here and there. But, Solar's death was it for me. I don't know if it was necessarily because I was just so done, or because I didn't want to watch all the Solar's death drama. And if you've seen my videos that are still up about the Sun and Moon show, you know that I have a lot of grievances with Solar Staff, but we're not getting into that. We're getting into my opinions. Honestly, I feel like the Sun and Moon show, like, sort of lost itself. And the mascots, Sun and Moon, mostly, I'm not talking about any of the OCs they made. I'm talking mainly about Sun and Moon. They're not Sun and Moon anymore. Yeah, sure, they're Sun and Moon characters, but they're not the daycare attendants that I once loved. Like, they don't even live at the daycare anymore. They don't take care of kids anymore. Well, at least from what I know. Okay? And I'm not saying that everything should be tied down to, like, if you're going to use characters like Sun and Moon, you should just tie them down to being daycare attendants. But also, like, the only reason why they used the mascots of Security Breach is because of their marketability, because people recognize them. People recognize Sun and Moon, so they use them. And originally, the premise was fine. Because, yeah, I could comprehend at least most of the stuff. But then they started to add more stuff into it. I made a post yesterday, talking about my opinions. Mainly what I'm talking about here. But I'm going to explain more here. It sort of seemed like them adding things like the astrals and all those things. It sort of made it all messy. Ooh. it made it sort of messy. And them doing a bunch of this weird drama stuff, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I was, like, of course there was the star, the Newton star, and then there was, like, the dimensions and stuff like that. But I felt like that was fine. Like, they didn't do too much. And I think the reason why it went so out of range, I don't know. I'm not that smart. I don't know what I'm talking about. But please let me express myself. It sort of got out of the range, sort of things making sense. Not making sense, but things like having some sort of plot line to it. Because in the beginning, there was Eclipse, and then there was Ruin, and then there was Eclipse coming back for the third time, which, honestly, like, I wish they could have done something better with that, other than, but, like, alas, this is, just my opinion. But then they just start to do a bunch of random stuff, like, every time I see someone has, not reacted, but made a post about the newest episodes, I'm just sort of like, what the heck is going on here? Like, what the heck is actually going on? I'm so lost. And again, I think it's because they sort of like, I feel like they plan on making I feel like they plan on this show being around for many years to come. And so so they have to continue to pump out ideas. Like, there can't exactly be a finale, at least not now. So they just keep coming up with random ideas that will excite the viewers. And then there's a whole bunch of other channels. Honestly, the gender bent Five Nights at Freddy's thing was so unnecessary. I don't know, I've never watched it. I can't say if it's or not, but I don't know. Just, like, I don't know why they felt like they needed to make a whole gender bent version of the show, and that's also previously that was the Minecraft version of the Sun and Moon show, so I don't know. It seems like they really want to plan this, like, they try to make it more of an episodic sort of thing, but also they want to have this deep lore, which I think they both not contradict, they sort of just bash at each other, like also a lot of times they would have these silly videos and then they'll have these serious deep videos, and it sort of like switches people's emotions on and off. I don't know, I think it definitely conflicts me, like, just even looking at the thumbnails and titles. Honestly, like, the show was fine. Like, I'm not saying that the showrunner should, I'm not saying that everyone should hate on the Sun and Moon show or any of the Security Breach shows, because I'm sure, like, there's nothing wrong with liking the Sun and Moon show. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing, because I can't control nothing, and my opinions don't matter to them, and it shouldn't matter to them. It's just me trying to get my emotions out. It's just me trying to express my opinions. And honestly, I just can't continue with this show. I can't continue to force myself to find some deeper meaning with it, because I've moved on from it. No matter how many times I try to give it a chance, I'm not going to get deep back into it. And that's okay.